After winning countless trophies and spending $100,000 on his 20B powered 83 Mazda Cosmo, Lance Warren's car has a fair bit of history.
My original Cosmo was a 2-litre piston motor. My initial decision was to pull that motor out and put a 12A turbo in. That got stolen and trashed, and a year later I decided to do it all again. So I found a genuine 12A turbo model for roughly 9,000 New Zealand dollars back then in '93. It's a nice smooth motor, and that's what I wanted, but I got sick of the power after a while. I wanted more. I could have worked a 13B or something like that, but I wanted something different. I wanted something that stood out from the norm. I always liked the 91 model Cosmo, the JC Cosmo, and I just couldn't believe its 20B power plant and really liked that. And so I decided that would be the ultimate to stick in, and so we tracked one down and found someone that would actually attempt the conversion, because it's never been done in New Zealand.
The difference between a 20B and the smaller 2-rotor engine is quite straightforward.
Basically, it's got another rotor added on the end of it. What we've done is we have taken the twin turbos off there because we had problems with the twin turbos not operating properly with the factory computer.
A Garrett T04 turbo with high-flow modifications now runs the 20B without a problem. But that wasn't always the case.
We've had some overheating problems along the way of the build, so we've had to incorporate an oil cooler each side of the front of the car to try and maximise the airflow through. Because the frontal area of the car is very pointed, there's not much surface area to let air through.
Then the need for additional fuel injection was solved by simply adding 6 more injectors.
The factory motor does come with 6 injectors standard. We knew that taking the twin turbos off and putting a bigger, higher flowing turbo on, there's going to be a lot more air going through it to the motor, and to compensate for that, we decided to plumb these extra injectors in. 1 or 2 probably would have done the trick, but anticipating a lot more boost in the future, we wanted to make sure we had enough fuel to cover it.
So having gone through 2 sets of turbos, 2 drive shafts, 2 diffs and 2 computers, it was time to match the suspension to the performance. All
the shocks are Bilstein shocks all round, and I've got custom-made level springs. Every bush has been replaced in the car with nolethane bushes, and an HSV Senator LSD has been put in with very tall ratios. You can quite happily cruise at 100 kilometres an hour, about 1,500 RPM in 5th gear.
Which should be relaxed enough to glance at the seats and confirm how many rotors you have. The Sparco 17-inch wheels with 40 profile tyres are a recent addition.
Yeah, I really like the wheels. They're a change to what I had before. They're a bit small for my liking. I want to upgrade them in a couple of months' time to some 18s with some really wide rims and wide tyres to try and get the power down to the ground. I've got too much wheel spin problem at the moment with these tyres.
In fact, that wheel spin problem led to a bit of drama during the '97 performance car shootout in Sydney.
The lights went green, the car bogged down. As it came out onto power, it just lit the rear tyres up in first, I hooked second, and it just flung out wide, and the car was going straight for the wall. I took my foot off the power and just turned the wheel and hoped like hell that it would pull away, and it pulled away at the last minute. And then I got the power down again, it started to go out sideways again, and I ran over something in the middle of the road. So I was veering over to the right lane on my correct lane, and I ran over the timing mark at the end of the track and broke my left oil cooler. Snapped the fitting right off the bottom of it. Bit of a scary moment.
Although born in Sydney, Lance spent many years modifying cars in New Zealand.
The New Zealand performance car scene is highly active. It's very similar to here. Similar sort of like-minded people doing the same sort of things to cars. But because of the less populated area over there, the scene's not as big, but it certainly is very active.
And to expose the car to a wider audience, the Cosmo has its own website.
The site's been going now for a few months, and I've had 900 people look at it all around the world. And most nights when I get home, there's 2 or 3 emails from somebody in the world that wants to talk about what I've done, or some advice, or where can they get a 20B or something like that.
Of course, spending $100,000 doesn't guarantee you'll ever see it again.
I think I'd be lucky to sell it for $30,000 now, and make a loss of about $70,000 on it. So it wouldn't be worth my while selling it, plus I'd miss it too much myself. I'd enjoy the car, I love driving it.
But there's no way he'd do it all over again.
Actually, I am starting a new project, and that's my JC Cosmo, the 91 Cosmo with the factory 20B in it. That's still in New Zealand at the moment, but I hope to have it here within the next month or so. And I'll be doing a similar thing to that, but it won't be as radical as this Cosmo.